Hi, and good evening, and welcome to our final session in this little run of Tales from the Low Cantrefs. So I've discussed the game in detail in previous episodes, so do check those out if this is the first one you're seeing. But in short, Tales from the Low Cantrefs is a PBTA game of hearth fantasy, sort of young adult fantasy going on adventures. The game's by Luke Jordan. It's currently in sort of playtest version, but we'll be playing through with it on the session today. So my usual caveat that this game may not represent sort of the final version of it, but I enjoy it as it is. So that's why we're playing today. This game was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing group that we arrange online games much like this one through an online calendar. You can check that out at gauntlet-rpg.com. We also have a number of podcasts. We have a game magazine called Codex. We have forums and stuff like that. You can find information on all the various bits and pieces that we've got going on at that website. So yeah, as ever, I'm going to start things off by just going through and asking everyone to introduce themselves and their characters, and if you can highlight something that happened last time, and yeah, we'll go on from there. So Anders, I'll ask you to start off as ever, if that's okay.
I'm Anders. I use the he/him pronouns. I'm playing Jack, who's also he/him. Jack is the blade, which means he's kind of a protector. I haven't seen much of that yet, but I think that's about to change with the dramatic turn of events last session. Last session, Jack and Zéline went into the Witchwood following strange light, I think it was. Either way, we ended up at the Hagstone where we met up with the other characters.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And Dana, if you wouldn't mind going next.
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Dana, pronounced she, her. I'm playing Zéline, also pronounced she, her. Last session, we got into a bit of an adventure with Jack. We got deep into the Witchwood. I carry him with my very strong will in a very dangerous situation, and I think I sealed whatever was haunting my sister, but now we have bigger problems, I think. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And Stephen, if you'd like to introduce yourself next.
Yeah, hey there. I am Stephen, he, him, and I am playing Oren, also he, him. The last time we left on Oren, I was scattering salt behind us to hide our footsteps from the dead. And I mean, I was letting Glyn down easy, letting him know that he didn't need to tell me that we were being chased by the living dead if he wanted to flirt. Just saying.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And last but not least, yeah, Paul, if you'd like to introduce yourself and who you'll be playing tonight.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul, he, him. I am playing Glyn, also he, him. He is the cloak of the group, usually a pretty relaxed, go with the wind kind of guy, but his domain is the forest and it's now pretty dangerous. So he's taken a more serious disposition while we're here. He would definitely be pranking everyone if it wasn't for all the the skeletons around. So
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So yeah, indeed, where we left things off last time, sorry, you had just arrived at the somewhere to shelter, having kind of given the living dead creatures that were following you the slip, at least for the time. But things had gotten you were sort of forced to break your journey as exhaustion began to overtake you. So I think where we're going to pick up is actually probably pretty much exactly where we did leave off last time. So I'll ask as you get to the this, like I said, I'm imagining kind of a clearing, maybe with a little stream, and this sort of big hollowed out tree that we described before. So yeah, I guess, how are you feeling and what are your plans? If whoever wants to go first wants to jump in.
I mean, I think that Oren is probably trying to thinking and figure out what exactly is going on, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like we this is our first times actually seeing the living dead. Like, this is something that's strictly for us in legend, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm probably like thinking and trying to figure out what to do next. And I have my move, Common Sense. Whenever I have a moment of safety to consider the true nature of things, I can ask the GM a question from below and get an honest answer. And so I guess, like, who could help me with, like, I guess, like, I guess I'm just, yeah, who could help me with warning the town of what is actually happening here? Because I feel like if we come back and say, like, the living dead are here, we're mostly gonna get, like, it's not a good joke, you kids.
Sure thing. So I think that you will I think you will be the person who is best or most likely to be able to help you get your message across to the others is probably I'm blanking on her name. If we assigned her one, I can't remember. But Glyn's kind of mentor, the old woman who's a kind of forest warden type. If you can convince her, I mean, people might still have a bit of a hard time believing her, but like, knowing about the strange things outside of the town is kind of her deal. So she's the person that's most likely to be able to convince other people it's a real threat.
Glyn, do you know Glyn, do you know the way to the, that old lady that you follow around? I forget her name.
Oh, Miss Winfred?
Do you know, we need someone who, because I don't think that if we come back to town and try to tell everyone about this, that anyone is going to believe us.
So what you're saying is we need someone, the ones who are the most reasonable of us, to go to town to get Lady Winfred, while someone stays here and distracts the skeletons for a while, right?
I
He starts walking backwards slowly.
I hadn't. You shouldn't. No, Glyn, you shouldn't.
Well,
It's not. This isn't like dealing with the wild animals or things like that you're used to out here. These things, they're out of legend. I know in all the stories that even the heroes that went up against the dead, they came back changed, broken. It's not something I can just leave in your hands, and I can't just let you go off and like sacrifice yourself like that.
I see what you're saying. And as Glyn finishes that sentence, can he just like disappear into the forest?
Yeah, sure thing. So
and I probably cry out, damn it, Glyn, and then I'm like, I turn back to Zéline and Jack, and okay, don't tell your mom, your parents that I said damn, because I'm pretty certain they already don't like me.
excellent. So yeah, Glyn, if you would like to roll with caution for your like a ghost move, we'll see how that plays out.
What about, this is kind of covering fire, kind of just like giving them, like I'll be shooting at the people to give the rest of them a chance to leave. I think either one works probably, but
yeah, I think for the moment, just for kind of getting away from Oren, this will probably be just like a ghost. Yeah,
gotcha.
We'll see how this goes, and then we'll see about what happens next.
Gotcha. All right, let's see. Oh, it doesn't go well, sir. That's double ones.
Ooh. We'll come back to that in one moment. Back to sorry, Oren, you just talked to the others. So yeah, Jack, Zéline, how are you kind of reacting to this?
Did Glyn just leave us here? He's the one who knows the forest the best.
I kind of like kneel down, because I see, like, wait, how big is Jack for his age?
I think he's pretty big for his age. I mean, but he's more like sturdy than tall.
Yeah, I kneel down next to Jack and say, well, the thing is, Jack, that sometimes Glyn is a bit stupid. And he's decided to make a very courageous and very bad decision. So it's on us to make good decisions.
Yeah, but is it just getting back to the village? Isn't that what we should try to do?
I think that whatever we decide to do, we need to make certain that the village is safe. And I don't know what these things were doing out in the woods, but if we don't warn somebody, and if they make it back to the village without any warning, all of that, anything that happens to that is going to be on us because we didn't do what was responsible. And then I kind of lean in again, unlike Glyn.
Yeah, that's going to take Jack aback a bit. Like he is suddenly realizes that they have a bigger responsibility than just making sure they're safe themselves. And he kind of absorbs that, and yeah, we have to protect the village.
I would like to use all this time to use my doorkeeper move that
Certainly.
says that I can sense the presence of the things in my vicinity and instantly feel if anyone dies near you. Sorry, that's my cat. Whenever you take a moment to calmly focus, you can ask the GM a question from below and receive an honest answer. And the question I would like to ask is, what is happening near here in death?
Yeah, sure thing. So I think what you will feel is there's a sense that something in death has been disturbed. You can feel that it's more normally, obviously, kind of the defining sense that you get of death, of the land of the dead, is very cold and quiet and still. But you can feel now more of a kind of roiling sensation, almost like a storm is brewing or something like that. There's a lot more pressure, a lot more activity going on. And as you're kind of reaching out, you will also sort of suddenly feel, just coming into the edge of your perception, a little way away still, you can feel the sense of more of these creatures, these walking dead, coming nearby. And Glyn, you successfully escape from Oren, and you slip into the woods. And as you do, for a moment, it's that sort of you're just kind of skirting a large tree that's growing, sort of obviously centuries old sort of thing. But as you are walking past it, everything seems quiet. Everything seems, it's obviously it's still dark, but maybe by this point, kind of just the very first flickers of dawn are starting on the horizon. When for a moment you think you've just caught your foot on a branch, until you look down and realize that a skeletal hand has burst up from the earth beneath the roots of the tree, and grabbed you around the ankle. What do you do?
Goes to other holy right now. I think it would just be like a snap reaction to do like a close range bow shot at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think this will probably be just a resort to violence here. Mm-hmm. What are you hoping to accomplish here? To drive them off, restrain them, hurt them badly, make them fear you, or take something from them?
I would like to take my foot back from them.
Yeah, that is absolutely fair.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I believe I marked where. Yeah.
Yes,
no matter
I think
yeah.
No matter what you mark where. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Sorry, that's not quite true, because you don't necessarily mark where if you. Oh no, sorry. Yes, no, you're right. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
reading that wrong. Yes, so yes, you do mark where, and then make a roll with resolve.
Okay. All right. So some different dice this time. Whoop, whoop. That is an 8.
8, perfect. Well, not quite perfect, but yeah. So I think I think that you do you fire an arrow and it kind of shatters the wrist of the hand holding you. Technically, the kind of the hand is still attached around your ankle, but you're able to kind of shake it off. It doesn't seem to still be able to actually grip once it's separated from the main part of the skeleton. But I think as you do this, you can see that this this skeleton is sort of pulling itself, the rest of itself, out of the soil, and you start to notice a couple more. The earth being disturbed in a couple of more places around this tree. This may have at one stage been a makeshift graveyard or similar, and you can start to see more skeletal hands pulling their way out of the soil.
Okay, interesting. Glyn would say to himself, "It's like, yeah, this is what I wanted," and will finish his initial idea of basically just hiding for the rest of the party.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So so if you would like to make if you want to make your
pull them off, or is it a different movie thing?
I think
it might be stand fast.
I think actually stand fast might be the most appropriate at the minute, because there's not not any other one around that you're actively kind of covering for. But yeah, stand fast sounds good.
All right. That is a 5.
Ooh, okay. So I think that you are sorry, first you have to choose what you lose for this as you attempt to kind of draw these creatures away from the others.
It would be my my composure as I yell out and very loudly say, "Yep, Oren, you were right. This is a bad idea," and start running or attempt to start running.
Yep, sure thing. And you start to sort of run, but these things, like I said, like the ones before, they're surprisingly fast. It's almost that kind of like Ray Harryhausen, slightly off, just odd, almost like insectile way that they move. It's distressing. And they are making ground on you. So we'll come back to the others briefly. And I think what you said in chat was fair. I think that conversation with Jack did probably constitute a what's it? Is it open up?
Open up.
Yep. So if you would like to make that move.
That is a 9.
A 9. Okay, so yeah, you can both clear 1 wear on a success.
Cool.
Awesome. But as that sort of conversation comes to a close, and that is kind of about the point when Zéline, you're feeling that kind of disturbance and that presence of dead creatures coming, and you will all hear Glyn yelling out, clearly like in distress, and you can kind of pinpoint roughly where his voice is coming from.
Sorry, was that directed at me?
That was directed at everyone, to be honest. I hadn't asked for a specific person, but yeah. Jack, how do you think you're reacting to that?
Well, he has to go there and help him. I think he'll just run off without thinking too much about it.
Yep, absolutely fair. So yeah, I think you will be the first to arrive on the scene. We'll check in with the others if they're following along in a second.
I mean, when Jack runs off, I'm following along because, damn it, I can't lose 2 kids out of the 3.
Sure thing. Yeah, so you will get on the scene first, Jack, and you will see kind of several, 3 or 4 maybe, of these dead creatures, and they've kind of they're sort of circling around Glyn, who is kind of not being able to make a break from them. What would you like to do?
Well, I can ask what here could I use as a weapon, but I assume there's a rock or something.
Yeah, actually, what you will find, there is a what looks like a shard of carved granite, quite big. I mean, it will be heavy. It won't be easy to swing necessarily, but it's got kind of a carving on it that you recognize, very weathered, very faded, but it's a kind of protective rune type carved into it.
Well, that should make it eminently suitable to bash in a dead skull with, which I'm trying to. I think Jack sees what's going on. He sees this rock, he picks it up, and he like half bashes it, half throws it at the back of the head of one of these undead things.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it sounds like what you're going for here is more of a resort to violence, or are you focusing more on trying to protect Glyn?
I think this is a resort to violence.
Sure.
And I think it's yeah, I think he's trying to hurt them badly. It's just if he can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you would like to mark a point of wear, and then yeah, make your roll with resolve.
Yeah, it's not the thing I'm best at, but let's see, right, and that's a 6. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think that what's going to happen here is that you hurl this chunk of rock, and it falls short. It's heavier than you thought, and in your kind of desperation, you kind of didn't properly think how you didn't get quite as good a hurl on it as you may have liked otherwise. But as you hurl this stone towards this skeleton, you will kind of glance down and notice that this stone you've thrown is obviously part of an old gravestone that has some disturbed earth around it, and the skeleton you hurled that kind of fixates on you. There's a kind of dark, almost not as bright as like UV light, but that same kind of odd sensation as that seems to burn stronger as it turns towards you, and it's going to it's going to charge towards you and rake at you with its exposed bony fingers. And I'll ask you to mark another point of wear, please.
And me and Jack end up like surrounded, but like back to back. And I'll just be like, "Hey, Big J, how's things going for you?"
I think Jack like stumbles backwards, so now he's like crawling backwards away from this skeleton thing, quite unable to form a coherent reply to such a flippant remark in this dangerous situation.
Yeah, same.
Oh, did we lose? Okay, I see. There's a.
Sorry about that. That was my turn to get yelled at by a cat. Yeah, she wanted to be let out. So, so yeah, I think Oren, as you arrive on the scene, just following Jack, you'll obviously see a similar scene. Obviously now both Jack and Glyn are being overrun by these dead creatures. What do you do?
So I just want to clarify. There are like you said, 3 of them. Still?
Yeah, three. I think at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Is Zéline? Did you come with me or did you stay back?
I think I'm following, but from trying to keep a safe distance. Like, I don't want to lose you, but I also don't want to go ahead.
Okay. I think I see this, and I'm gonna say, Zéline, do you remember what we were talking about making poor decisions? So I'm gonna have to ask you now to make a poor decision with me. And because like I'm looking, I cannot resolve things with violence here, because I'm terrible at it. But I pull my old carving knife out of my pocket. And do you know what to do with this, Zéline?
What do you want me to do with it?
I'm going to try to distract some of the skeletons away from Glyn and Jack over there. And if any of them stay behind, I want you're the one I trust to actually use this in a way that's at all effective.
Why do you trust me?
Zéline, you're usually carrying around a giant sword.
Yeah, but I never used it to fight.
Well, I don't think we have much choice right now. I guess, are you pushing me to try to open up to you here?
I was thinking about it, yeah.
Okay. Are you cool with that, David?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. And that's a 5, unfortunately.
Okay, so on a...
I think it's probably like to kind of push like the open up. I think it's like, Zéline, you don't carry around a sword if you're not prepared. You can't carry around a sword if you're not prepared to do violence, I guess. That's at least what my dad told me with the knife. And I know that I'm not prepared to do violence. And now we can see what the effect is. Because I felt like I needed to push that a little bit more for the open up.
Sure. So yeah, on a miss, you are left awkward and exposed. You can either get some space from them, act out to cover your vulnerability, or mark where.
I think I'm gonna have to mark where here because I don't think the other two make sense. And I think I put the knife into your hand, Zéline, just kind of without saying anything more. And at least I was trying to set up a situation where I could offer help on you resorting to violence here. If that
Sure.
works for you.
Sure, it does. So we are going to attack them?
I think Oren's idea was that he'd start going around to the other side and tossing some stones at them or something. Because that's worked out so well for Jack. And then Zéline could actually like go in for the strike to try to get help Jack and Glyn.
For sure. I think before doing that, I would like to try to open one of the doors.
Sure thing.
And I was thinking of open the door of iron that says, say who you give movement and who you hold still. I'm thinking that, like, maybe I can freeze these undead things and maybe allow Shaq and Glenn to go free,
Yeah, that
give them
sounds
movement.
great.
And I think as I approach, like I think I'm doing this mostly is instinctive. I don't think Zéline is totally understanding what she's doing. Like I think I'm holding the knife that Oren gave me with one hand and my key with the other, and like thinking like I'm hoping that Shag and Glenn will just can go.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do you think I'm still distracting them to buy you some time while you tap into this? Or do you think I'd rather like me like, I don't know, hold your hand and like you can feel you're channeling both our energies here?
Both of that sound cool, but what do you think, Oren? Like I think you distracting them could also help me, but I don't know what makes more sense for Oren.
I think, yeah, if Zéline is kind of tapping into this instinctually, maybe this isn't, I think this is probably going to be more a surprise than Oren than anything else. So I think Oren's still going through with his plan.
Great. Yeah.
Only for Zéline to whip out some weird mystical shit.
Awesome. So
Right.
yeah, if you would like to make that roll, then Zéline,
Yeah.
with resolve, I think.
An 11.
11, excellent. So it works. You, for a moment, the skeletons all freeze perfectly motionless. They still, they still hold together. They're still, whatever magic is animating them is still able to kind of keep them in one piece, but they are absolutely frozen in place. But yeah, Jack and Glyn, you are both able to escape their grasp. You're still perfectly capable of movement. What I'm going to ask, though, for you, Oren, is because you aided there, even though it was in the end not required. You still have to answer the question of whether you worry, upset, or outshine Zéline, and they have to mark.
Oh no,
where
Zéline worries and upsets me. Like I am gaping at whatever Zéline is doing here because this is Zéline, what are you doing?
I think Zéline is still like going to the things and like stabbing one, even though it's completely freeze and the stabbing does not change anything. But like I'm doing what you told me.
How did you do this though? And I kind of gesture at like the fact that they're not moving.
I just open a door. Just a little bit, just for a moment.
I guess I kind of look between them and you and all right, I think we need to get out of here before they start moving again.
I assume we run back to the village.
We need to head to the warden. Is she in the village, or is she like, does she kind of live outside the village?
She is in the village.
Okay, yeah, we're headed. Oren will say we should head there then.
Okay. And as we like get back together, Glyn would be like, Oren, that was a courageous yet stupid choice I did back there. I promise I will always listen to you in the future, and I will never do that again. and this is like probably what, the 10th time this
Yeah,
year?
I figured.
Yeah. That he said this to you as we all make our way back to the village.
I just kind of sigh and I say, okay, Glenn. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I think you will be able to return to the village without further complication. The sun is starting to come up by the time you're back, and as you reach the edge of the village, and the and you can see the house that Miss Winfield, wasn't it? I think you said.
I think
yeah.
I think Winfield, either one works.
No, that you're right. It was Winfred. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you kind of arrive at that. It is I kind of imagine sort of towards the edge of the village still, but within the village itself. And I think that is where we will take our first break for the evening. So if we come back, let's say come back at 5 past, and then we'll pick things up there. See you all in a few minutes. So yeah, as I say, you've made it back to the edge of the village. You've made it to this little cottage that Miss Winfred lives in. Yeah, I guess what are you going to do? Glyn, do you think you're going to be the one to talk to Miss Winfred about this, or are you going to volunteer one of your companions?
Glyn will at least make the introduction, so he will like knock on the door.
Yeah, and Miss Winfred will open the door. She's wearing just like a shirt and trousers, and says, "Glyn, what are you doing here this time of the morning? It's not like you."
Hi there, Miss Winfred. Hey, remember the time I thought it would be funny if I were to run to you and tell you that there were monsters in the forest, and then see what you did?
Yes, I think I have some memories of that, Glyn.
So this time, I am not lying. There are skeletons in the forest, and my much more respectable friends here will back me up when I say that. As I take a step back and have Oren take the front of the conversation now.
Why would you say they're up anyway? Miss Winifred, we were following Jack and Zéline here out into the woods to try to find them, when I don't know what's going on in the woods right now, but we were pursued by things that were by all rights dead, like in the old stories. I kind of look at Zéline and Jack. Did either of you see anything out there that might explain why they were out, like what might have changed what might have changed, or why they'd be out?
I don't know why, but maybe it's something to do with the Hagstone. There was a light or something, and Zéline, I think, stopped it. It had done something to her sister. And one of the skeletons clawed me, and he like shows where the skeleton scratched him.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I
Zéline.
didn't see anything, but I felt it. There's something wrong on the other side. Like seriously wrong.
What we need is oh, go ahead.
No, carry on.
We came to you because the rest of the village respects you about the woods, and they might not listen to. And I think like Oren kind of glances at Glyn and then says us. But they'll certainly listen to you if you say that there's something in the woods that's gonna threaten the whole village.
Excellent. So I think as you've made the concrete request, Oren, I'll have you make the roll to seek adult help. You can call on aid from any of your companions, I think, at this point, because everyone's sort of contributed to the that conversation. But yeah, you can choose who it is that you're going to get your backup from if you want to, or if you want to make the roll without, that's fine as well.
I guess I'll throw it out there to Glyn because he's the only one not at three-wear.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm down. I think the help I give is like she's reading Glyn's body language and he is trying to overcompensate for how scared he is, like just like being like as calm and chill as possible, like leaning against the wall. He found like a stick to like put in his mouth, just very much overcompensating, and she knows that like, oh, he's being a lot right now.
Cool.
And that's a 10 for me.
Nice. So yeah, so on a 10 plus, they will Miss Winfred will nod and say, I believe you, children. There are dangerous things in the forest. I will summon the village council, and we will do what we can. Though again, I'm going to turn to you, Glyn, and again you get the choice of whether you worry, upset, or outshine Oren, in which case they take wear, or if you are shaken, tired, or hurt, in which case you take a point of wear.
I think I am shaken, tired, or hurt, and I think that it's shown by Lady Winfred, like just like doing like a grandma like comforting pat on the back, and we see for a moment that like Glenn's like fear shows. He gets a little shakier on his feet, but then she continues to walk away.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, and I think she will depart to go and start rounding up the sort of in particular the people who kind of do the village defense as and when it's necessary. So she'll be off rounding those people up. Obviously, kind of she's left her cottage unlocked because pretty much everyone leaves their place unlocked. So I guess I'm interested in what you all do next, whether you sort of break up, go back to your own homes, or whatever else you do. So Jack, I'll come back around to you first. what is there anything you want to do? Is there anyone you want to talk to, or anything else?
Think I think he's worried that his parents will be worried if they see that he's been hurt. So I think he'll go to his grandfather, I think, to like get patched up a bit before he goes home to his parents.
Sure thing, sure thing. And Zéline, how about you? What are you thinking you might want to get up to next?
I think I would like to go back to my house and pick my sword and
Sure thing.
like get off of this awful dress, like and put on some like my regular clothes. I don't think this is over for me. Like I want to. I think that there's things that only I can do to help with this, but I want to be more prepared.
Awesome. That sounds great. And yeah, Oren, how about you?
I think I have two thoughts for what Oren wants to do. I mean, at some point he wants to ask Zéline about the doors, but I think I'm fine with Zéline going up to get her sword first. I think maybe to kind of push this, Oren might be stopping by at his home to speak to his mom, maybe. I feel like maybe that's where the kind of gift of sight was passed down from, and that might be a setup to finally bring that into the fiction.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds good. Cool. So yeah, I think we'll go to we'll go back around in the order did. So yeah, I think Jack, as you reach your
sorry, just real quick.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will
Oh, sorry. No,
Yeah.
I skipped you. Sorry, that was yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah. We can do Jack first, but I would just like to as Zéline is like picking up her sword again, would just like to appear at her like windowsill when we get back to that scene.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, we can do that. That's perfect. Awesome. So yeah, yeah, Jack, you will get to your grandfather's. You know, and I think there's kind of his big old lumbering axe is kind of embedded in a big like flat log, log for splitting other logs on out the front of his house. And he's sat outside the door at the minute. Has clearly been sort of cutting some wood, but is sat sort of on another stump, smoking a pipe as you arrive.
And Jack is a bit like I think he is kind of torn between like the adrenaline of all the weird stuff that's been happening and being a bit, like I said, like a bit worried about how his parents are going to react. So he is kind of abashed and at the same time he's like bubbling with excitement to talk about everything that happened. And I think he starts once his grandfather sees him. I think he'll start talking about just everything, all jumbled up in no particular order.
Now you'll need to slow down there, Jack Lad, if you want me to understand what you're saying. Come on now. What's What's gotten into you?
We saw skeletons out in the forest, and one of them. Look here. I need to. Can you help me fix this? I don't want Mom to worry about. And he's got this bloody gash on his chest, and his tunic is torn a bit.
Yeah, awesome. I think we'll go for another. We'll go for another seek adult help here. I think. So if you would like to make me a roll with honesty.
Yeah. My honesty is -1, so this is great. So that's a 3.
And as you say that, his face darkens. He says, "You said you got that out in the Witchwood.
Yeah.
You need to get out of here now, boy. That place is cursed. If it's in your blood already, there's no telling what'll happen to you."
But can't you help me?
There's only one way I know to get rid of that curse. If it's not traveled too far already. And you see his sort of eyes wandering over to the axe embedded in the log. I had. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I had stories from my granddad about the things that people who've been marked by the Witchwood have done, boy. If it hasn't got a hold of you yet, there may be some hope, but you don't want to be around other people. If the curse turns you, it's for your own good.
Yeah. Jack is going to start backing up, and then I think he'll just turn and run. And I mean, he's going to run back into the forest, I think, but probably he'll bump into someone else on the way, just so that he's not off completely on his own.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. We can come back around to that in a little bit. Awesome. So yeah, Zéline, as you get back home, how are you kind of making your entrance? Are you just kind of walking in the front door, or are you going to try and be more stealthy about your entrance?
I for sure want to be stealthy. I don't want my parents to see me like this, throwing all these fancy dress.
Yeah, very fair. I thought that might be the case, and yes, the dress you're in is by this stage absolutely ruined. But yeah, so I think you probably kind of sneak in through the window or similar. Where in your room do you keep the sword? Is it something that you kind of keep hidden, or is it sort of displayed prominently, like up on the wall or something?
I think I keep it hidden under my bed. Like my parents, I don't think they want me to have a big sword, so I think I should keep it hidden.
Sure thing, sure thing. So yeah, as you get changed into your normal clothes, and pull the sword out from under your bed, as you pick it up, the handle almost feels warm, not like burning hot or anything, but like as if it's been held almost. And there's just a it feels almost like more comfortable in your hand. It's almost like it's always been this sort of big slightly awkward sword for you, but it feels just like it's better balanced in your hand now as you pick it up, I think. But yeah, I think it's probably about this point as you've kind of got changed and retrieved the sword, where I think Glyn, if you want to make your entrance.
I think if Zéline has like a window into her room, you would just hear like it would sound like there's like just outside the window, but it's not like looking in or anything, because like that'd be weird to do that. It would just be like, hey, Zéline, are you back?
Yeah, I think I will like approach the window and say, hey Glenn, you can come over if you want. I don't think there's no one home.
Yeah. Then he'll just sit on the windowsill then, and he would just be like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. What you did in the woods over there. Why didn't you tell us in the beginning that you could do that?
I didn't know I could. I just like see things and I can like open these doors and things happen, but there's like I'm just learning to how to use it, so I didn't know I could until I did.
Cool. I just wanted to stop by and say just like, yeah, just more of that, whatever that is. Me and Jack may not have made it back here without you, and I just wanted to thank you for that. This is your mom's pie that was in the windowsill, but as a gesture, I took it and brought it to your window. Again, for thanks. But yeah, if there's anything I could do to help you open more of these doors, and if he doesn't really get magic and stuff, he's like, no, like let me know. If it involves taking stuff from people, kind of my thing. So just like give me a heads up.
I will, thanks. And do you wanna sit for a moment and maybe share this pie?
Oh no, it's fine. I've already eaten like 2 slices. I have to say hi to my parents at some point. They worry.
That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah. If you wanna talk more about the doors and stuff, and you need help like unlocking things, yeah, we can. I think like you're always at the tower, so yeah, we can do. Maybe the tower has stuff. Tower's always like a weird place. Is that where you learned how to do this thing?
And I think the tower helped somehow, but I'm not so sure.
Oh, do you think if we got you to the top of the tower, it would make things like cooler.
I don't know. I never been to the top. I always ask you to carry me.
You're right. Now we have a reason to do this. So maybe if we have the time, we can go up to the top of the tower and then you can, I don't know, explode all the different skeletons. I don't know how this works. But yeah, I have to go. My parents will probably get worried at some point in time. Not very often, but they do. And he will kind of just start walking away, give you another like thumbs up, back towards the lake lodge area.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like we probably hit an open up move in
Yeah.
there. I think it probably felt more like Zéline was opening up to Glyn. If you'd like to make that roll, Zéline.
For sure. My honesty is -1.
We're so bad at honesty, except for one person.
Oof. It's a 5.
No worries. So I think let's see, the options that you have are to mark where, act out to cover your vulnerability, or get some space from them. Though to be honest, as Oren is already leaving, that might be feel free to just get some space from them and just go with that one, because that seems to sort of fit with the fiction we've already established.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you don't even show up at the tower. I'll just be waiting there for them to show up.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
but feel free to pick something else as well if you want. But yeah,
No, I think that's right. I think also like Zéline doesn't know what to say. Like Oren's Glyn said all these like encouraging things, and like Zéline like just take it and didn't say like anything in response. And I think that's also like she taking some space and didn't wanted to engage as much.
yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Awesome. So yeah, Oren, you were going back to see your mother, I believe. I think you'll probably, again, it's sort of early morning, so you'll probably find her at home. What do you think she's doing as you kind of come into the house?
I think she's probably like in the process of either spinning wool or weaving it. Like, I think that's the kind of like thing to do in a house when you're in a small rural village.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that, as I said, both my parents are kind of like older. I think they're in their like probably 50s at this point. Or maybe even early 60s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of step in a bit like hesitantly, because I don't know, I always don't like to disturb her when she's working, and I'm like, Ma, or may I come in?
Of course, dear. Don't worry about it. Come in. Sit down. And yeah, I think she is. Yes, spinning at the minute, using like an old what do you
Staff
call
and
it?
distaff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and I you're probably gonna hear about it at the council today, but I tried my best, Spa, but some of the little ones got into danger out in the woods today, and it gave me a scare.
I'd heard that there was that you'd gone out looking for those children, but well, if you say they got back safely, then that's good. But I know it's difficult when you feel like you've got responsibility for taking care of someone, and they and you think they might be in danger. It's normal to feel scared about that, I think.
And I nod, and I know you say that they're not for playing with or minor problems, but I've been practicing and memorizing the ruins, and would it be all right if I threw your bones?
And I think she's quiet for a moment, and yeah, I go on. I think we'll go for another to see how it goes. We'll go for another ask an adult for help roll here. Seek adult help, I should say. Sorry. So if you'd like to make a roll with honesty.
Sure. Let's see here. That's an 11.
Excellent. And she'll nod and say,
I wouldn't be asking if it wasn't important.
I know, Oren, and that's why I think you should use them. If you feel it's that important, then there's a very good chance you're right. And she'll kind of nod over towards a kind of an old, very, very well worn, but clearly was at one point quite good quality, sort of velvet bag hanging from the back of the door, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And I go over and take it, and I think that it's this process where, like, you know, it's kind of a throwing of bones. Like I feel the bag, and I can kind of give it a few shakes and you can hear the clinking of the bone pieces inside. And then I kind of uncinch the bag and let a few of the pieces fall out to give me guidance here. And I am kind of hitting on my, let me go over to that. Pull the threads. Like, I think maybe this is like the first time that like I have actually been allowed to pick up the bones and throw them myself. Like, it's something I've always seen my mother do.
Yeah, excellent.
So yeah, when you turn your gaze to the ungiven future, you roll plus learning, which I believe is a +2 for me. Yes. And that's another 10.
Nice, nice.
So I get to ask 3 questions. So yeah, I guess what I'm going to ask is what trouble still lurks behind the rise of the dead?
Yeah, so what you will the binding of the spirit back into the Hagstone has caused a disturbance in death, and that is what's sort of driven these creatures to come back to life. You'll have to find some way of pacifying the spirit on the other side of death as well as on this side, essentially. Obviously that will be framed in slightly more metaphysical, a metaphorical way, but that's kind of what you will derive from that.
Yeah. And I throw the bones again. Where should I be to stop what's coming?
You need to head back to the woods soon. There is someone there who is going to be in danger, and if you don't get to them before they meet their fate, then things will get worse.
Oh, and let's see, what's the last one I should ask here? Where should I look for help if I am desperate?
That's a good one. I'm just going to quickly refresh my memory of some of the
Could also be one of the PCs as well.
Yeah. I think no, I think it will be I think it will be the old ruined tower.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, I mean, at least somebody will be meeting Glyn there. Glyn there. Yeah, I think I nod and I kind of put the bones away very carefully and hang them back where they were hung before. And I think I'd probably go back and like, thank you, Ma, and I give her like a kiss on the forehead. And can you, in case I don't come back soon, could you tell Dad sorry about the salt, tell Dad sorry about the salt, and I get out of there fast. Yeah, and I think that's where my scene ends there.
Cool. And yeah, sorry, can I just check in? Are you heading to the forest or the tower, do you think, after that?
I think I'm heading to the tower if that's where I can get help.
Sure. Awesome.
But like I'd probably be headed to the forest immediately after that.
Yeah, no worries. So in which case I'm going to come back around to Zéline quickly. So yeah, Zéline, after Glyn leaves, is there anything else that you wanted to do?
I don't know, like I think I would like to like find the others, or at least Shag. I'm for sure want to be with Shag for whatever is happening next. But I like I don't know if I know where to meet Shag. So maybe I will go to the center of town or wherever the meeting of the council is and see what is happening there.
Yeah, sure thing. That's cool. So yeah, I think as you kind of head down towards the center of town, Miss Winfred has already kind of gathered together kind of the, I said, a representative sample of the village, particularly those who sort of are most responsible for the kind of there's not like a formal guard here, but those people that do kind of serve on the guard. And she is explaining to them about the extent of what she knows that's going on. She will be sort of saying that they need to protect the village. They need to watch the Witchwood and make sure that nothing comes out of it. And she will say that tonight they will have to perform the ritual for banishing the dead, which is obviously this ritual where they kind of people go into the Witchwood with like burning torches and try and frighten off the dead. But I think as this is sort of going on and as this is being explained, kind of, I think Jack's father is here, and he will head over to you. Unless you're like making an effort to hide, but assuming not, he will kind of come over to you.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm maybe trying to hide, but I don't think I'm very good at hiding.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Plus, you have you still have the giant sword on you now.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll say, Zéline, have you seen Jack? I heard that you'd all come back from the woods, but I've not seen Jack yet. Is he here? Is he okay?
Last time I saw him, he was coming back home. I think he was safe for sure.
Okay. Maybe he went to his grandfather then. I'd hope to see him. Maybe he's back home by now. I'll check in. But I'm glad you're both safe.
Alexei, don't worry about Shag. He's he take care of me when we stay alone. Like he protected me.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. And he'll kind of nod and then kind of sort of say goodbye and kind of head back to the farm. Awesome. So I think this is probably we'll jump back in with Oren and Glyn at the tower, I think. If you want to set up that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Glyn,
Glyn,
yeah, I'm just sitting back against the tower, just waiting patiently, slightly napping.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, Oren still has on, I still have on my sturdy work boots, which are explicitly noisy. So you definitely hear like a clumping up the stairs, like of like, it's probably quite loud.
Yeah, as you come up to him, as he sits like against the tower, just goes, Zéline? Oh, Oren, what are you doing here?
And I think it's then that Oren like pokes his head out of the upper floor. It's like, oh, Glyn, how did you know it was me? I mean, unaware of the fact that they're just very loud boots.
Oh, lucky guess. But yeah, did you see Zéline on the way here?
No, I haven't. I don't really. I kind of look at Glyn a little bit doubtfully. So here's the thing. I threw the bones and they told me to come here for help.
Glyn pauses it out for a second. Again, it's like the wizard talking to like the rogue. It's like, yeah. Uh-huh. And
I think that like throwing the bones is like a thing people know happens in this world. It's just not something you necessarily need to believe in or understand at all.
Yeah, Glyn doesn't get it. I know there's like smarter people than him. He knows. He's like, yeah, the bones. And now what?
And I think Oren is still very doubtful because if the bones led me to get Glyn for help, so apparently there's someone that's going to be going into the woods, and if we don't stop them and protect them from whatever's in there, things are going to get worse.
As soon as you say woods, Glyn looks relieved. It's like, the woods. I know how to do that part. It's like, oh, yeah, I can do. Yeah, we can help him. Do you need help here? Are you just gonna like? Is there like something you just need to find here, and then I can help the person in the woods real quick?
I guess,
The look on his face says like he will listen to what you say, but he really wants you to say that for him to go to the woods. And he's
I'm wondering now. We haven't really used this move, but I'm wondering if, as we're in the tower, I can search my memory if there's anything that legends or anything that we have about the tower that might that might be important now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a 7. So on a hit, the chronicler will tell you whatever you know for sure, hint at some things you half remember or suspect, and point out where the gaps in your knowledge lie. You may ask a follow-up question or two, but they need an answer.
Yeah, awesome. So what you know for sure is that obviously this tower has been abandoned for as long as anyone can remember. This tower has in fact possibly even been abandoned since before this village was here. You know, it's ancient. And it is rumored that it was the home of a great sorcerer back in the days when sorcery was a force that was present in the world. The dimly remembered or half remembered things I think that you get are that, or it's possibly less so much that it's that you can't remember it as the people in general can't remember it, is that it is rumored that there are like secret rooms or a secret vault or something like that here in the tower, but you know, obviously there's never been any sign of that. And it's like the obvious gaps in your knowledge, I think, is probably quite simply that no one really knows what sorcery is. You know, it's there will be like rumors of like, oh, you know, very much like our fairy tales of like what sorcerers might be able to do, but you sort of know that you have no true idea of what a sorcerer would even be capable of, if you know, what could be here.
Right. And I think I know that they say in the old stories about this place that this used to belong to a sorcerer, if you believe that in those old in the stories about those old magics. But did you ever find any secret rooms or anything here? I know that people have always said that there is some old vault out here, but nobody's ever found anything.
Oh. I just never thought to look. You think there's secret rooms here?
What was that?
Do you think there's secret rooms here? I don't know.
I mean, that's what people say.
People say that?
And I kind of like flash back to this time we heard this, to the time I heard this story, and like Glyn is just sitting right there beside me, chewing on a stick and like staring out at the woods.
Yeah. That's cool. Did you find it?
So like I mechanically do not know how I would go about finding it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure that out.
Were you gonna say something, David?
Yeah, I was going to say probably give your attention could work.
Maybe that's more like frost situation, and that's mostly for dealing with danger.
Yeah.
It could just be
I
like a-
could make,
Sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, it's when you.
No, you can go ahead. Go for it.
One thing that does occur to me is you could try calling on superstition.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
That maybe you've heard a story about a way that you're supposed to be able to summon a ghost or
yeah,
find a
like
thing
maybe
or whatever else.
maybe even like I recall back that like every year we, the folks in the village get together and draw some ruins out onto the Witchstone, the Hagstone. And what if those aren't just stories for, what if that isn't something that is for just the stone? What if those came from symbols or things the people that first came here found in these ruins? Maybe if we, I don't know, drew them out, made the drawings of the runes, that something might happen here. Maybe it's a kind of key or doorknob of some sort.
All right. Draw ruins on the tower. Got it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if you want to help, like I can make this roll myself if you want, but if you wanted to help here, I imagine that like it is a very like I think this is maybe a very large kind of like almost like kind of calendrical circle around the floor maybe.
Yeah, I'm down to help.
Awesome. So if you'd like to make a call on make a call on superstition roll. That's with plus learning.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
And so that's a 9, which is bumped up into a 10.
Perfect.
Yeah. You get to choose if this either works, it says, it works as they said, but choose that either the effect is weak or limited, the effect is unreliable or short-lived, it exacts a price, which is marking where, or it attracts unwanted attention.
I see that we're reaching 2 hours past, and so we should probably be pushing the story to a close. So I'm gonna choose that it exacts a price because I think I don't want to have like more complications come in here.
Sure. Glyn, do you the usual question again, are you shaken, tired or hurt, or do you worry, upset or outshine Oren?
Yeah. I think in a very classical sorcerer tower kind of way, there was a trap door. There was a trap when we opened the door, but we didn't check for it. So I will also mark where. As soon like we both get hurt in the process of finding the thing.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And we're coming up on the hour here. Maybe like we see what's happening with Jack and then go to a break.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, Jack. Where do we see you as we switch back over to you?
I think Jack. I think he sees where they're holding the council, and he skirts around that. He doesn't want to be seen, and he's super scared, but he's more afraid of hurting someone else because he's been affected by this curse than he is for himself. So he's going off towards the woods.
Yeah, and I think as you head towards the woods, obviously the sun has risen now. It's daytime, but the shadows in the woods seem especially long, almost like at sunset. And there's just a sense of foreboding about the place as you get nearer to the edge of it. And I think there's even like a just very, very light, very wispy mist just curling along the floor, which again is just like slightly out of you wouldn't expect it to be out still when the sun is up as much as it has been. And I think that is where we will leave things for the moment. And if we come back about 10 past, and we'll sort of wind up into our end zone as everyone starts coming back together again. See you all in a few minutes. Yeah, so Jack, I'll come back in on you. So yeah, as you reach the edge of the woods, what do you think you're going to do?
I think he picked up his axe because it's in my stuff. I think he grabbed that. He like snuck back home to grab the axe, and now he's kind of clutching that and trying to work up the courage to go into the forest when it's dark and scary and he's all alone.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess I will ask you then actually to make the stand fast roll.
Yeah, that makes sense. Courage, that's actually something I'm good at. Let's see how this works out. That's a 9.
Okay, yeah. So on a 9, you will you barely hold it together. Choose something to lose. Their respect, your footing, your composure, precious time, your momentum, etc.
Ooh. I think he loses his composure. He feels like he has to go out into the woods to protect everyone else, because what he did understand from what his grandfather said is that he's going to be a danger to everyone, but he's also really, really scared. So I think he like starts crying as he starts to walk out into the woods, but he still does it.
Excellent. That's awesome. Thank you very much. So yeah, you can. So we'll switch back over to Oren and Glyn, and I think, yeah, as you trace your runes on the floor of this tower, there will be a grating sound as sort of the I think it's almost like the sort of center to this no, it's so it's sort of the flagstones under your under your feet kind of slide apart, and there's not a big space down below, but just like a space for a small chest, essentially, which is exactly what is in there. It's a very ornate chest, sort of all sort of metal filigree and the like over it. It doesn't, however, appear to it certainly doesn't appear to have a lock on it, put it that way. And I presume you're going to open it.
I mean, I presume that Glyn is going to be the one to open it, because I assume a locked a chest in a hidden room is like cat.
I open it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as you open this chest, it's kind of one of those. It's not deep. It's a fairly sort of shallow little case. It has one of those like inlays with velvet inside, and in it there is a book, which it's not titled, and if you flip it open, it doesn't appear to be written in the local tongue, put it that way. It's a sort of stranger alphabet that this book is written in. Doesn't seem immediately obvious to you what it is. And there's also a number, there's also in the set around the book a set of indentations for a set of keys, and there is indeed a key sat in each one of them.
Glyn would be like, just a book, and I toss it over his shoulder towards Oren. Well, that's a bust.
I think Oren is looking at this and says, didn't Zéline mention something about doors?
Hmm?
Do you think these, I mean, that's generally what keys are for, right? Do you think this has something to do with what she was talking about?
Oh, maybe it's not a bust. Maybe it's useful, actually. Huh. Yeah. Keys go into doors, you're right. We should find Zéline, and she can open the book door.
Oren will let that one slide and go on. And I think this is probably where we're heading out as well then, right?
Yeah. As we're heading out, I'm just like, God, magic's weird.
What was that?
Yeah. I was just like, God, magic's weird as I'm walking away. Yeah.
Yeah, I will also say at this point, if you do want to try and learn anything like about the book, you can probably make a search on memory for it to see if you like recognize some, sigils and stuff. But you also don't have to right now. That's not it's not a requirement to put it that way. But
I feel like Oren's initial thought is that this must have something to do with the magic that Zéline was doing, and that she'll probably know something about it.
Sure thing, sure thing.
Or at least, like, I don't know, maybe Oren also is thinking the same thing, that magic's weird. Maybe something will start glowing when she touches it.
Yeah, very fair, very fair. And Zéline, I'll come back around to you. So I think as you're leaving the where the council met, you will feel a sudden. It's a bit like it's a bit like the sense of death you've had before, but it's a bit different. It's the main thing you'll notice about it, whereas like the sense of death tends to be ever present almost, and it's more a kind of a sense of like when there's something stronger or more powerful in there. But this feels more like a flash of something rather than a that same kind of all-encompassing feeling. And yeah, it's definitely coming from the direction of the tower.
So I think I'll go there then, and I was hoping to like see Shaq at some point, but I don't think I could possibly know he has gone to the forest. So I will go to the tower.
Yep, sure thing, sure thing. So yeah, you will, and I think basically you will be arriving at the tower as Oren and Glyn are descending it, and it will become immediately obvious that that presence, that sense that you felt, is coming from the what they're carrying.
Yeah, I think Zéline, this is fortunate. We were just about to look for you, and I think does this mean anything to you? And I hold out the book towards you.
It's making like some big waves. Like it's like I come here looking for strange thing I felt, and that's the strange thing I felt. And I would like to reach to it. If I touch it, do I feel something or more?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you reach out and touch the book, it has the same sort of feel that your keystone has. It's like that, but it's odd. It feels both more powerful, but also like less familiar. It's not. It's your keystone obviously feels very much yours. This feels this doesn't feel like it belongs to you in the same way, but there's a sense of power to it, definitely.
And I would say like I think this is powerful, but I don't think I can control it. Like if I reach with this through one door, I don't know what will happen.
Only one way to find out.
Well, the bones led me here. I'm sure this is going to, I'm sure this is will help us in some way, but we need to get to the forest. Someone is heading there, and if whatever that thing that's in the forest that's behind all this gets to them, then things will become much worse.
Okay then. Okay, well, I'll use it, but like just keep watch, and I think I would like to I'm like looking at the doors here, and like the door of mist is the one like it seems more intriguing to me, and I was like in one of the character questions it asks how of if you were afraid of, or what doors like scare you the most, and I think the door of mist is the one that scares Zéline the most, and I think that's like so and I think there's something happening here that concern the death, and like maybe if I reach through the door of mist I could like fix it.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's definitely a possibility.
And I think Zéline would say to Oren and Glyn, like there's one door that's different to all the others, and I don't want to open it. It's so scary. Like I think it could help, but also I think it could like make things much worse.
Well, we have to wait till we get to the forest first, right? We can figure it out then.
Sure.
Hey, what could be worse than a forest full of undead skeletons?
I'm not sure.
Village full of them?
Good point. Well, we won't solve anything by just staying here. So there was someone in danger in the forest.
I'm fairly certain of it. I think
Okay.
that's where we need to go.
All right.
Awesome. So, Jack, I'll come back around to you. Is there anywhere in particular in the forest that you're heading for, or are you just kind of?
I think he's going towards the Hagstone, but only because it's the only place he really knows there. But so I don't think it's really intentional. Maybe he's more like going back in the same way they came out.
Yeah, sure thing. That's cool. I don't think I'll make you make a difficult journey. It doesn't feel super relevant at the minute. I think, though, as you get closer to the Hagstone, you will feel, like I said, the shadows almost kind of like flowing around you, swarming around you, sort of thing, and you'll hear just whispers, mostly just kind of that, sort of like no real sound to it, but just but clear, but like obviously a whispering sound rather than just the wind. And I think you'll hear like one like eventually they'll start to sort of form words, and you'll just hear them say, come to us, little one. We can give you anything you want. Just seek us out, let us in.
Yeah. Jack is I think by this point he's just like staring at shadows and stumbling over every rock and tree root he comes across. I mean, if it's night in the forest, it's super dark. I mean, he's going to be walking into things and falling over a lot. But he I don't think maybe. Yeah, he probably speaks out loud like, no, I'm never going to let you in.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask for another stand fast, if that's okay.
Sure. Well, the plus 2, right? Yeah. That's another 9.
Sure thing. So yeah, you are able to keep it together. And you don't let maybe the voices are getting to you, but they're not doing more than that. They're not taking over you. They're not forcing you into anything now. You still maintain control of yourself. But what do you think you lose?
Yeah. I think Jack loses his drive to continue into the forest. Like he sits down at the foot of a tree and just hugs the axe and cries a bit.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So yeah, and it's around this time that the rest of you are arriving at the edge of the forest. Yeah, how do you want to proceed from here?
Can I see Jack's tracks?
Yes, absolutely. You will be able to pick up those tracks. It's an eerily familiar situation to last time, though. Now that it's at least a little lighter out. Though once you get into the denser parts of the forest, only marginally so. But yeah, you will be able to pick out Jack's tracks, and you will be able to find the ones that are the new tracks, the fresher tracks, not the ones that were from last night. And I think just in the with an eye on the clock, I think you'll be able to follow the tracks to find Jack. Yeah, as described, kind of curled up under a tree, hugging his axe.
I mean, I think I probably kneel down and Jack, is that you? Are you okay?
What? Who's that? Oh, it's Oren?
It's just me, Oren. Can you can you come out of there? I'm not quite small enough to fit in under there.
No, you should get away. I'm dangerous.
You're not dangerous, Jack. I threw the bones and I could tell that you're in danger right now. And it's why me and Zéline and Glyn have all come here. We came here to help you.
No, you shouldn't be here. Grandpa said that I've been infected by the curse on the forest.
Jack, your grandpa's the one that says you should that you're infected by the curse of the forest if a cat looks at you the wrong way. Do you remember that time he said that Miss Dougherty was a witch because her cheese curdled the wrong way?
But it's for real this time. He was really scary.
And the one time he called me a thief for stealing his pie.
And you didn't even steal it that time.
Yeah, I did, but it still doesn't feel good to get called out.
No, I hear the whispers from the things in the forest.
I think this is probably a good opportunity, such there is one, given people's honesty in this group, for you to make an open up move, Jack. And it's probably, I think it feels like you're probably targeting Oren here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. That's a 2. So not great.
So yes, back to our fun choices for.
I was going to say, because when you open up and offer someone comfort, company, or intimacy, that didn't really seem like the.
Oh
like
no,
the
actually,
trigger
sorry,
here.
no, that's true. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
that's
the wrong way
true.
around. I'm thinking more of the move in something else. Anyway, not important. Yeah, no. So actually, you're right. It should be
Like in
it
bite
should be-
marks.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Where when you're the one being vulnerable, you roll. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that should probably be Oren that rolls for that one.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who is offering comfort. Yeah, sorry. I was just.
Yeah, but I guess the question here is, do you accept it here, Jack? Because it actually sounds like Jack is not accepting it here.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm refusing.
No worries. So yes, in which case, yeah, sorry, Oren, it will be same result, but it will be you this time. So you can choose to either get some space from Jack, act out to cover your vulnerability, or mark where.
I think I'm really worried here. And I think, like, I take on, I don't do this often, but I take on the adult voice. Jack, I'm going to need you to get out of there right now, because you are in danger and the village is in danger. And I don't think that I won't tell your parents that you let the entire village got eaten by zombies.
Yeah, Jack is going to crawl out, but he's going to keep his distance a bit. Yeah, he's still more scared for the others, but he's really scared about the forest and the dead as well.
I think Zéline will take a step forward towards Jack and how him and said to him like, I'm happy we're back together.
But I could turn into one of them. I would be dangerous for everyone.
I mean, do you remember that time that your grandpa thought that Glyn had become an undead, but he just
Mhm.
hadn't bathed for 3 weeks?
Yeah. That was the long con too.
Yeah, but and I think Jack he doesn't really have any he doesn't have any sensible arguments. He's just he's still just scared and
That's fair.
confused.
Okay. All right. Guess it's best time than any. Then like Glyn just like looks at Zéline.
Sorry, I just was not paying attention for 1 minute. What I miss?
Oh, like I like Glyn feels like Jack's okay-ish now. Zéline has the next part of the plan, so he kind of like looks at
Yeah,
you.
Zéline's the de facto magic plan person.
I don't know if this counts as a plan, but I think like if I saw the things and I opened the door, like they will be back to be dead. But they have to be in front of me.
I think there was something about a spirit bound in the woods here that was behind everything until it was sealed away again. Do you know anything about that, either of you?
I seal the spirit in the stone. Like it was the one that was bothering my sister.
I mean, Oren has so many questions here, but maybe, okay, maybe do you think if we went to the stone, you could maybe find them from there? These with the book or something like that.
I could try. Yeah.
Yeah, you could like just take it out of one jar and put it into like a better, safer jar. That's how magic works, right?
There are doors, not shards.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was Oren's plan. I guess it's a question: is are we going through with that or with Celine's plan? What?
I think both plans sounds very dangerous and but potentially it could go really wrong if I roll not the right way. But sure, the stone.
I mean,
sounds
if
like
we
a good
help, you're at
closer.
least getting a 7 to 9. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think like if it's your like if I follow your plan, you're already helping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Cool.
So yeah, I think if you move towards the Hagstone, you'll notice that those kind of almost like veins, vines, some combination of the two that had grown on it last time, or grown from it last time, seem to have become even more pronounced, and then maybe even like snaking into the shape of like odd sigils. And the shadows in the clearing around the Hagstone are properly inhuman at this point, or in you know they're moving in strange ways, almost like writhing tendrils as you come in. So yeah, Zéline, if you'd like to, if you'd like to do do what you want to do.
I think Celine is taking the book. Like I think I'm still using my key, but I I think I could affect more things if I use the book. So I will try to like I will approach the stone like I did the last time, but with the book in one hand and the key in the other. And I don't know now if the Door of Mist makes any sense. So
It certainly could do if you actually want to. Or well, what you could either do is you could use the you could open the Door of Mist, or you could use the Walker in the Mist move if you actually want to travel into death itself.
That's one of my milestones, so I think I would do that. And I don't know if yeah, sure. I was rereading my moves, but I think it makes sense to like go into that itself and maybe use the conjurer move there, or like try to fix things from that side. And I think I would like I think Celine would like step right in front of the stone and like just like fall unconscious as my spirit goes into the realm of dead.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, if you would like to make a roll with resolve.
That's 13.
Perfect. Yeah, you found a quiet stretch of the moor, and none of the dead are waiting. So as you step through into death, the mist here is much thicker and much more prevalent, and like the topography of the place is very similar to where you've left. The sort of the way the land is very similar, except rather than being in a forest, there are just ancient and withered remains of trees around you. But there is a representation of the Hagstone here, though on this side it looks a lot more organic. There's it's almost like oozing and shifting as you look at it. And I think we will switch back briefly to the others. So yeah, as I said, Zéline collapses at your feet. And as she does, you'll see another skeletal figure emerges from the woods, but this one has like almost like shadow woven through it. It looks there's something darker to it than the ones you've faced before, and it is going to. You can see it is making a beeline for where Zéline lays. What are you going to do?
Can I attempt to hold them off?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you would like to make that roll.
All right, come on. There we go. Finally, that is a 11.
11, nice. So I think so. On a hit, I choose one. Which for each person hit, I choose one, which is either they retreat, they seek cover, they press on only hesitantly, or they freeze up. And I think that this creature is going to keep coming, but yeah, it's clear that your shots are slowing it down as it comes towards you. But also on a 10+ hit, your companions treat any hit to exploit the opening you've created as a 10+ hit themselves. So I'm going to ask Jack, what are you going to do as this thing is coming towards? It's still clearly, it's not, even though it's obviously kind of flinching as the arrows sink through it. It is still clearly focused on Zéline's body.
Yeah, and then Glyn is just like, "All right, Big J, get in there."
Yeah, Jack he grabs his axe and he just screams as he charges forward. But I think he's like trying to push it back more than actually destroy it. He trusts that the magic will handle that part, but he has to hold it off.
Sure thing. That sounds probably more like your human shield move than in that. It would rather. I mean, you can go either way. It could either be human shield or it could be resort to violence, whichever you think is more fitting. You'll be getting a 10+ either way, so it's.
I think it's resort to violence.
It probably is.
Sense,
yeah, it probably is.
Because it's not someone about to like take a hit right now. So I think it's more resort to violence.
Sure thing. Yep. So you will need to mark a point of where.
Yeah.
But you will get what you are aiming for. So you swing at this creature, and again, it's not really that your axe kind of chips at the bone that makes it up, but it just seems to be the effort of resisting it seems to be holding it off as you beat it back. And Zéline, I think we'll come back to you. In death, you can see this shifting, like I said, organic, almost like a chrysalis or a maggot or something like that, something larval about this thing. But yeah, what are you going to do?
I think I would like to use open the door of Willow here and like say that every dead has to slumber now.
Awesome. Yeah. If you would like to go ahead, you can, if you wish, call on Oren for aid here, because he kind of set this situation up.
I think. I'm fine with that.
Great. So that's a 7 with help. It's a full success.
Perfect. So you open the door of Willow. This pulsating mass that is the Witchstone in death solidifies and kind of shrinks down a little, and a hard shell grows over it. So it resembles once again the Witchstone on the side of the living. Back on the side of the living, the skeleton collapses to the floor in a pile of, not even just in a pile of bones, but the bones collapse to the floor and then they collapse down into dust. Oren, I'm going to let you sort of narrate how your aid, whether it's you or Zéline that takes that point of aware, and how that kind of looks as it happens.
Yeah, I think it's that we see the kind of, as Oren is like clutching Zéline's hand, I think like the life and vitality is just sort of draining from his face. And I think because I'm hitting my last bit of wear, I think we see him like kind of give a shudder and like just fall over you unconscious.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And so I think this will be kind of, I think as Oren falls unconscious will be the point when Zéline's eyes blink open. You feel a peace settle over the forest. The Hagstone returns to kind of how it looked before. The strange growths, the strange veins on it have disappeared. The mist has died down. The shadows have gone back to their usual foresty shadow nature. And I think that is where we will leave things. There is kind of actually I will check in. Are people okay if we overrun by a few minutes? If people need to get off sharpish, that's fine. If people are okay overrunning a few minutes, yeah, cool, perfect. Okay, so yeah, well, there is a kind of like built-in epilogue type move here, which I don't think will take us too long to resolve, but it will probably take us a few minutes. So I'm actually not sure if this is in the
Yeah, it is on the far right of the basic moves.
Cool, excellent. Yeah, so there is a move called Years Pass, which, yeah, as I said, is in column G in the basic moves tab. When the years pass, reflect on your experiences and count the milestones you achieved, then roll with plus milestones. So the number of milestones, you've basically put a line through the ones you've achieved. On a 10 up, there are a few quiet years, like the sun breaking through a dreary sky and things are well for now. So you can kind of give just a little description of how maybe what we see of your character in the future. On a 7 to 9, darkness creeps across the Cantrefs like a night's slow tide. You mark one stanza on your playbook's doom. This is true ever after and cannot be undone. So give us a little narration of what that's like. And there's a dooms tab which has basically a list of options for each of the playbooks. So you can go there if to do that bit. And then if you roll a miss, I think you mark off 2 dooms. So yeah. Oh yeah, so sorry. In fact, the official thing is whatever happens, tell the table what you're doing and how life is treating you 1 year later and share one hope you still hold for your future. So yeah, I'm going to come around to you first, Jack, if that's okay. So if you would like to roll with the number of milestones that you have marked off.
Yeah, I've marked 2, I think. Yeah. 2. I get an 11.
An 11, perfect. So yeah, you no bad things happen. Well, not no bad things happen to you, but but you do not narrate a doom. So yeah, if you'd like to just tell us what we see of Jack a year into the future, and one thing you still have hope for.
Yeah, I think a year later he's working in the woods. He's working out in the Witchwood. He's learning to be a woodcutter, so he's picking out trees and helping chop them down. I don't think he's working with his grandfather. I think they had a permanent falling out over that, and I think Jack's parents had some stern words with his grandfather. but he's working with one of the other woodcutters from the village, and he's good. One thing he still has hope for. One hope. What is it? Share one hope you still hold for your future. Yeah, I think Jack he sees that he could have a good life in the village, basically.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. And Zéline, if you would like to roll with the number of milestones you've marked off, and we'll see how things go for you.
Yeah, I think I marked 3, so that's a 10.
10, excellent. So once again, no dooms for our village today. Yeah, again, if you'd like to narrate a scene we see of you in a year's time and one hope you still have for the future.
I think we see Zéline like spending much more time in the tower even now. Like I think she's kind of sorry, my cats
worries.
are
Yeah.
acting out today. We see some like she's experimenting with the doors, and I think we'd see the book and the key, and like she's sitting in at top of the tower with the books, reading the book and like holding the key and trying to study more and trying to familiarize herself with the doors and their powers. And I think I still hope like we can keep like being like safe and like things like that, like that happened last year won't come up again. But I'm also like trying to prepare myself in case it does happen again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Oren, if you'd like to make your roll as well.
Yeah, I rolled with a +3 because I got 3 milestones and I got a 9. So I'm picking one doom off this list.
Sure thing.
I think that I'm going to pick that no king blade will hold its edge, no roof keep out rain. The endless tools of humankind shall lose their worth, not all at once, but sure and slow as age's venom. And I think that like, yeah, I mean, I think that my father has passed in the intervening year between the time and now. And I think that where we see Oren a year from now is that I think that like we see him leaving the village. Like I think that he has joined I keep forgetting his name.
Callum, I think.
Yeah, Callum's troop the next time they're in town as like a tinkerer and is leaving town. And I guess he's holding out hope that like there will be a village to return to, or the path will still exist, because I think that as we're seeing us crossing over the bridge, like the bridge itself has finally begun to crumble after all these years of standing solid and firm.
Nice. Thank you very much. Finally, Glyn, if you'd like to make your roll.
Yep. I have 2 milestones, so that's going to be +2. Gosh, just not my day today. All right, so that's a 5.
yeah, you have to narrate two dooms from your list.
One is River shall rise and overthrow their destined course. So basically what happens as the bridge begins to crumble, people begin to see the water rise in the gorge where water wasn't before. And it's like growing anxiety that one day the water will rise up with the gorge and like go like flood the village basically. And the rabbit and the stag shall learn wisdom at long last, and the prey will take counsel with one another. Yeah, I think there is just much less food in the forest. The hunters, Glyn and anyone else trying to look for food, including Jack's grandpa, are having much trouble bringing in game from the forest, and no one knows why.
Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, so and what scene do we see of Glyn in a year's time, and what does he still hope for
in the future? I think in a year's time, because there's so little game in the forest, Glyn just doesn't have much to do in this village. And then one day, as he's kind of just like lazing around at the laundry poles, he goes into that mysterious dark cove. And then he finds, I think just for like fun, he kind of like uses the water nearby to draw the symbols that they drew on the tower. And another door opens in the cove to another area. And no one has seen Glyn since that day. And Glyn hopes that there's something cool at the end of this very dark tunnel.
Nice. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone. So yeah, thank you all. I'm going to stop our recording now.